Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your man, Darrell Owens, and this is the LegacyMaker Sports Network NFL Prediction Show. Yay! What's up, everybody? Once again, glad to have you all here with us as we're getting ready for our favorite time of the year. Forget Christmas. We're talking about the beginning of the NFL season. I know everybody's excited. I know I'm pumped because at this point of the year, everybody still got expectations. If you're the Houston Texans, in your heart, you think you got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Those chances may end quickly, but we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, once again, we're glad to have everybody here with us as we're going to break down our predictions for the season and kind of give you our thoughts of where everybody's going to land. Now, this is going to be wild, y'all. Like, nobody can truly predict this, but we're going to give it a shot today. Now, before we get rocking and rolling here on this thing, of course, you know I can't go without introducing my squad. I got to introduce the squad because it's important. First, to my far right, maybe my left, depending on where you're looking at the screen at, the man, myth, and the absolute legend himself, the man who is the co-founder of the LegacyMaker Sports Network. He is the co-host of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. He hosts Breakaway with Jay Quimby. Mr. Jay Quimby, what's up, sir?
Oh, just blessed to be back with my family, talking football.
Talking football, baby. And in the middle, in between us, not trying to create an Oreo or nothing like that, but in between us, our man, the man who is the co-host of the Commonwealth Sports Talk here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. He's quite the legend himself. The man does a little bit of everything, hip-hop, music, you name it. He does it. Mr. Lamont Thomas. What's up, LT?
What's good, man? I'm happy to do this. I feel like every time you introduce us, man, I feel like I'm backstage at the boxing match. Ready to go.
Well, hey, look, if I can't hype my team, who will? You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Come on now. Next, of course, he is the social media guru on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. Avid Giant fan, avid Yankees fan. The man just knows a little bit of everything. And when you see the graphics on the show tonight, they were done by him. Mr. Cody Stewart, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I can't wait to talk some football. We are here. Like, you have Christmas time, but you have football season starting. I'll take football season starting all the time.
Anytime. And last but not least, the man knows everything Atlanta Falcons, but the man is just a football fanatic, a basketball man. He knows it all. The man breaks it down like no other. Mr. James Brown. What's up, James?
What's going on, man? You know, I definitely do the best I can, but, you know, glad to be back with the boys. Football season's here. Let's get it started.
They said the boys are back in town, and it is true. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get this thing started. We're not going to hold you long tonight, but we're definitely going to give you our predictions on the season, kind of give you why our brain is picking and why we see this team going this way and that team going that way. So we're going to start this one off tonight. I was debating, like, where do we start it off with? But let's start off with the division that some people say could be the AFC least this season. We're talking about the AFC East. And as you see here, this is our prediction. It looks like straight across the board, everybody's thinking that Buffalo is going to make things happen out here. Everybody's got the Dolphins number 2, except for one person, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. And so I'm going to ask you about that to get this thing started, Jay. You got the Patriots, you know, at number 2. Now, that is a little bit before the Cam and the Mac Jones, but give me your thoughts on that.
This is a make or break season for them. I mean, they put the most money ever in free agency. Belichick needs to win, or Kraft needs to fire Belichick. Plain and simple.
Wow, that would be something very interesting to see there. If Kraft actually fired Belichick, I wouldn't know how to feel about that. I just don't know. Now, Lamont, looking at you on this end, Lamont, you got this team a very tight division a little bit here. You got Buffalo going 11-6, the Dolphins going 10-7. And then you got the Patriots 8-9, as the Jets are 2-15. I think everybody got the Jets, except for Jay, who got them a little love. But as you look at this division, man, you got the Dolphins number 2, but does the Dolphins truly have a chance? Do they have a chance to win this division in your eyes?
I don't think so. I think the Bills are going to be the new AFC East bullies, Darrell. But at the same time, I do think that Miami's defense is scarier than what they appear. I think that they could have a run like the Colts did last season, right? And just be absolute nasty. They got a lot of young guys who fly around the ball, and they're really mature on the defensive side, even though they're young. So I think they're gonna break out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see there. Now, looking at James here, James got Buffalo going 15-2, just like myself. And so me and James, we right there head to head. We also got the Dolphins going 12-5. You got New England going 10-7, and then the Jets 1-16. It's hard to give the Jets victories. What about the Jets here, man? I mean, they got the young quarterback. What are your thoughts on that, my man?
I mean, plain and simple, the only thing the Jets do well is make headlines, whether it's them firing somebody, them trading somebody, or this, so far this offseason, somebody's gotten hurt. I mean, right now, the Jets in a state where we need to see something from them. And right now, I don't see much. I mean, Zach Wilson looked good at his pro day, but there were no pass rushers. There was no pads. Everybody looks good at pro day. So, we just got to see it. New coach, new system, new quarterback. How many times have we seen this from the Jets? So I mean, we'll see. We'll see if Wilson's the guy. Jay might be right. It might be 10 and counting. We'll see if Wilson's the guy. But I mean, for right now,
nah,
it's the Jets. The Jets is the Jets.
The Jets is the Jets. Now, Cody, looking at yours, you have the Bills going 12-5, Dolphins 10-7, Patriots, over the edge 9-8. We won't have no. If you don't tie, there shouldn't be any more 500 seasons unless you tie 8-1. So it's gonna be kind of hard to have a 500 record anymore. Then you have the Jets winning 4 games this season. You're looking at this division, and the Dolphins are a tougher team with Flores. Tua's gonna get a chance to kind of like go out here and be the man this year. No Fitzpatrick behind him, just truly be the man. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins in this division, and if they can overtake the Bills?
Lamont touched on it. The Dolphins, they should have a hype, fly around the ball defense this year. Very tough defense, but it's all on Tua this year. I understand that this is only his second year, so it's kind of hard to say it's all on him. He's still learning and progressing, but some of what we saw last year was pretty ugly. And I just feel that they've surrounded him with some playmakers. They went and got Will Fuller from the Texans. They drafted the playmaker out of Alabama, Jalen Waddle. So they're giving him some playmakers. As long as the offensive line plays well, it's all about Tua executing the offense. So if Tua does well, the Dolphins do well. If not, they're a fringe playoff team.
Yeah, this division right now, and I saw this the other day. Since 1973, all the quarterbacks are 25 and under. It's the first time everybody in the division is under 25 years old. Since 1973. So this is the youngest quarterback division in football, period. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they can make happen. Y'all all know how I feel about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So I'm not going to go to, we'll talk about a little bit later on that. But, I really like Buffalo's chances in this division this year. But the Dolphins are not going to be anything to play with. So we'll definitely see on that end. So that's the NFC East. Now we swing to, in my opinion, it's probably be the toughest division in football, and that's the AFC North. The AFC North is, as you can see on this board, 3 of us. We got 3 different winners here. I got the Browns winning. Cody, James, and Jay got the Ravens taking care of business. Lamont's got the Steelers winning this division. Now we all kind of agree that the Bengals are going to be last. But I think they're going to compete, in my opinion. I got them kind of high on this list. So I'm going to start this one with Lamont. Lamont, you got Pittsburgh winning this division. Why are the Steelers winning this division?
I honestly think is due to the schedule, Darrell, they're gonna back into winning the division. I think just like last year, they'll get a pretty good start, and then everybody else will start to catch up to them. I mean, you said it right. It's one of the toughest divisions in football. I mean, Baltimore is right there. Cleveland is right there. As we saw last year, they actually broke out. So I wouldn't be surprised if your prediction comes through and they actually do break through. But I think that Pittsburgh's, they're the same thing they've always been. Tough defense, stellar defense. If they don't get hurt last year, after they go 11-0, who knows what really happens? Because that was really their cliff. Besides offensive woes, I mean, the defense was really banged up. And I think if they stay healthy this year, there'll still be a problem.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to be definitely in the mix this year. They're still trying to get the TJ Watt situation all confangled, if you want to say anything. Now, Jay, you got Baltimore going 14-3. Baltimore did go ahead and they signed Mark Andrews, made him one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. Browns going second in that division, losing division by 2 games. Pittsburgh finishing in third, and the Bengals are in fourth place. Give me your thoughts on this division and where are you looking at here?
Well, I had the Ravens where they're at because of the fact of I was looking for Dobbins to break out and that depth. They're a running team. But since then, we've had some revelations of people getting hurt. They brought in Le'Veon Bell. How much gas is still in that tank? But I want to see Lamar expand his game and more passes down the field. They got him receivers to go on the outside. I know that everybody's like, he's got Marcus Brown. Hollywood is my height, and he can run fast, but 2 people on him, you can't get him the ball. So you got to see him step up there. And the Browns were built for one reason, and that's to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's it.
We're gonna find out real quick how that works out. They played this weekend, so that we're gonna find out real quick if that works out on that. Sorry, wrong graphic, y'all. Swinging back here. Cody, you got it kind of tight in this division. You got 11-6 for the Ravens and the Browns, and then you got Pittsburgh just 2 games behind them, and then the Bengals sitting there about 4 games back. What are your thoughts on this AFC North?
I really do think that it comes down to the Browns and the Ravens. The reason I didn't have the Steelers winning the division is the fact that huge loss for them defensively with Bud Dupree leaving, heading over to Tennessee. They've lost a few offensive linemen this offseason as well due to retirement. I just feel when you couple that offensive line with an aging Ben Roethlisberger who looked like a statue last year, really wasn't that mobile. I feel like it's a recipe for disaster. So I'm going to keep it with the Browns and the Ravens. And I wanted to give the Browns that edge, but just how the schedule fell, I think that the Ravens will pull it off. But the Browns could do some damage in the playoffs.
All right. James, looking at yours here. You got the Ravens at 13-4. Still got to get used to this 17 game thing. It's messing with me a little bit. The Browns going 12-5, Steelers 10-7, and then the Bengals are 2-15. Now, this Bengals team, a lot of potential on the receiving court if Chase can catch the ball. You look at this Bengals team, and you got them finishing so far in the division. Now, some of us got them a little bit higher, so you don't see this Bengals team kind of rising up a little bit this year.
I mean, it's tough with Cincinnati. You got to think Burrow's coming back off the ACL injury. I mean, he didn't really play much in the preseason. He had 3 snaps. Practice, we've been hearing that practice hasn't been that well this year at training camp. The confidence isn't there. He's not trusting the knee. I think it's only been 8 months maybe since he's had the surgery. So you got to see if that ACL is going to respond, if he's going to be confident enough to stand in the pocket to throw the ball to receivers that do catch, like Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, that really popped for them last year. I feel like for Chase, it's a mental thing right now, but I feel like as the season goes on, he'll work through that. I mean, he's a football player, got balled out at college his last year at LSU. He did take the year off because of COVID, but I feel like he'll bounce back. Just him getting back into the swing of things. I mean, it helps that he has Burrow, but we got to see if Burrow's going to be on the field. We got to see if he's going to play. And honestly, I'm calling it now. I think at some point during the season, if it doesn't work out, Zach Taylor's hone. I mean, this is his 4th year in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Nobody.
And you have the quarterback. You seem to have the quarterback in Burrow. You did let his knee get tore up last year. Hopefully he rebounds. You opted to take the pass catcher over the pass protector. So we'll see. But I'll tell you one thing: if it doesn't go well, Taylor's out of there because we can't. This can't go on too much longer.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, because and here's the thing: most coaches in his position, if they were the Lions or someone else, you're hearing the whispers of him gone. I haven't heard one thing about Zach Taylor in trouble. I have not heard that at all. I mean, obviously, if they have a 2-15 season, that's got to start to creep in there. But I haven't heard anything on it. It's crazy.
And how many first or second round linemen have they already traded away and without even,
Whitworth? Whitworth was the first round. Was Whitworth the first round?
Well,
he was a solid left tackle for him.
Yeah,
He's gone now.
Price,
Andre Smith was a bust. Billy Price didn't work out. I mean, they haven't seemed to be able to hit on those draft picks. But then with Cincinnati, their front office, the way they run the organization, they don't really do much. I mean, Marvin Lewis was there for 16 years, and he only had 6 playoff appearances and maybe one playoff win. So Cincinnati really doesn't make too many moves. He didn't even
Zero
get that.
playoff wins.
I tried to give Marvin some credit. I tried, Marvin.
He
That
holding
tried.
on.
playoff win might have saved Marvin Lewis's job. Now I'm gonna tell y'all my thinking here on this Cleveland pick. In my opinion, from top to bottom, overall, Cleveland's the best overall team in this division. I think they got the pieces on defense, they got the pieces on offense, special team, yeah. But if you look at what they've got, if Baker Mayfield just plays solid this year and tries to, minimize any turnovers, that team is set in prime. They won all those games without an OBJ. We'll see if OBJ can come back and finally be the player he was the year before last in New York. We're missing out on that. I got Pittsburgh at number 2 because I still think that they've built a really good team around. And Najee Harris is a guy we haven't talked about that much in this segment, but Harris is going to be very important to Ben Roethlisberger and how that team goes this year. I'm still worried about Baltimore. Still worried to see what they can do. Where the weapons are going to be. I'm still kind of skeptical. Me and Lamont are kind of seeing eye to eye on that.
Right there with you.
Yeah, and I think the Bengals. I got them kind of high. And I gave them the highest record out of everybody. But I do think this Bengals team, if they can kind of, get Chase going, and finally they got really good young talent. If you look at their receiving core on paper, it's a really nice young receiving core with Boyd and Chase, and then and Higgins. Higgins had a really good year last year. So maybe that's just me and all potential, and I got him on fantasy, and I need him to do well. Maybe that's.
But I mean,
I don't know.
5 steps. He's got to get rid of the ball before he gets eat up. I mean, Jonah Williams was their first round pick, and he's been healthy about as much as I have.
I don't mean to laugh. That's not supposed to be funny. You threw it out there. That maybe get true. All right, let's swing to the AFC South. Now we look at the South here. We got 3-2 here. Jay, Lamont, and myself all have the Titans, and I got the Titans going 14-3. I might have been drinking when I was looking at that. now that I go back and look at it, maybe they should be more like a 12-5. But I do have them at 14-3. That's the one thing about the playoff predictor. As you go along, you don't realize, like, man, I got this team looking really good. Cody and James. Now, James, I'm going to start off with you because your record, you have indicated that the AFC South will be the NFC East from last season. James, you got the Colts 8-9, the Texans, the Titans 8-9, the Jaguars 3-4, and the Texans 2-15. James, tell me. Just tell me. I almost agree with you on this. Just tell me what you were thinking, my man.
I mean, it's tough in the AFC South, man. You got to think with Indianapolis, who I had as division winner, they're bringing in Carson Wentz. They got to see if it clicks with him and Frank Wright like it did back in, 2016? 2017, he was a possible MVP candidate. And right when you thought it might, Wentz gets the foot injury. He's out 5 to 12 weeks. He's going through that. Quentin Nelson had the same injury, 5 to 12 weeks. Then Wentz ends up on COVID protocol. Now all of a sudden he's starting week 1. It makes me think that honestly he had a conversation with Chris Ballard, like, look, either you get it together, or I'm calling Foles, or I'm calling Chicago and I'm getting Foles down here. And when Wentz heard that, he was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm positive. I'm negative. I'm vaccinated. Whatever. I'm starting week 1. Nick Foles will not set foot in Indianapolis. Nick Foles will never touch a Colts jersey.
That's hilarious.
And as long as Wentz stays healthy, maybe they pull it out. Maybe they get a little bit more than 8-9. But I feel like, honestly, man, it's a toss-up right now. Not to mention they got a new left tackle, too, in Eric Fisher, who tore his Achilles in the, AFC Championship game. So it's a lot of questions for me. And then if you look at Tennessee, Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator, now in Atlanta, rise up. But, he's gone. We got to see if that offense can respond with the straw that stirs the drink gone. Yeah, you still got Derrick Henry, but is the scheme going to be the same? Is it going to be different? Is Ryan Tannehill going to be able to adjust to a new system with a new offensive coordinator? Is there going to be any tweaks, changes? So I feel like their offense may pull back a little, and that could see us actually some decreased wins in Tennessee. And we got to see if their defense comes together as well. I mean, we know last year they really didn't have much of a pass rush. They let Jadeveon Clowney go in free agency. They drafted a few guys. We'll see if any of them can help support some pass rush, but it's wait and see. And then, of course, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is the Jags, and Houston, good Lord.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's bad.
Houston just better hope that they don't have the same doctor from the Chargers, and Tyrod might make it this season. But,
James is on
other than that,
Okay.
man, Houston's playing for next year, next decade.
Oh, man. That's if they even got picks next year. But, they gave away so many picks to the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure that might be the Dolphins pick. Cody, you got the Colts also winning this division, 12-5. 10-7 for the Titans, 5-12 for the Jaguars, and of course you got the Texans at 1-16. Me and you agree wholeheartedly on that. I was being nice by giving them a victory, and I think I want to say I gave them the victory over the Jets just to be nice.
I think I had them split with the Jaguars just because I was like, all right, if they're going to get a win, it'll probably be the Jaguars.
Right.
But with this division, though, this Indianapolis Colts team reminds me a lot of the Philadelphia team that won the Super Bowl when Wentz had the MVP season, but then got hurt and Foles came in. That defense is really good. That offensive line, I know questions with Eric Fisher at left tackle, but that offensive line is pretty sturdy. It's just really all going to be on T.Y. Hilton staying healthy, which he's not right now. Michael Pittman needs to take a jump. From how he was playing in USC for rookie year, wasn't that good with Indianapolis. But I really feel like this team is going to do well in the AFC South. And with Tennessee, that 10-7 record, it could be worse than that. And the reason I say that is because they have a stretch of games that is, I believe, week 6 through week 9. They play Buffalo. They play Kansas City. They play Indianapolis, and they go to the Rams. That is a tough 4-game stretch right there, and that's right in about the middle of the season. So I feel like their season's make or break right there. If they can go 2-2, you're good to go. But if they lose all 4, pack it up. Indianapolis will clinch this division by week 13.
Dang. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, going back, Jay, you kind of got a little bit of a James thing going here, but you got the Titans just over the edge here at 9-8. You got the Jaguars. You're the only person in this one. You got the Jaguars finishing in second place. Colts 4-13, and then you have the Texans winning 3 games somehow. But Jay, your thought process on this, man. What do you got going here?
Well, a lot of that is nobody expected Wentz to be back this quick.
Right.
Nobody. And I got that news, and I was just like, okay, he's gonna get on the field. He's gonna break something else. Don't want to see that, but it's worrisome. And with the Titans, they lost Clowney, they lost people here. They brought in Bud Dupree, which I don't know. That's not really a good comparison to Clowney, but it's a pass rush of some sort. Julio Jones, who I think is getting sold short. I know he's older, but you haven't seen a decline in his performance when his quarterback is upright. So for me, I love that offense of what it can do. I know they got to learn the whole new system, but Tannehill has been served up some pretty bad things at the beginning of his career, and he found a place that he was right. I think they'll try to work it together. Derrick Henry, let's see him get another 2,000 yards. Just give him the ball.
Hey, it can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with King Henry. Now, Lamont, we're looking at your side of things here. You've got Tennessee at 10-7, the Colts at 9-8, the Jaguars 8-9, and then you have somehow, some way, the Texans winning 4 games. Now that's probably because they beat up on a couple teams in the division. I'm pretty sure that's where those wins came from. But Lamont, give us your thoughts on that.
I think the whole division is kind of like that. I kind of agree with Jay and James, with you can't really trust anybody wholeheartedly in this division because of all the changes that each team has going on. But I do feel like the Titans, because of that and that rough stretch that Cody was talking about, I think that may prepare them to be able to take the reins at the end of the year when, you're playing nobody but your division at the end of the year. And I think Tennessee is the team that sticks out of the 4 of them. Other than that, I'm not sure how much consistency we're going to get, from the other teams at the end of the season. And for that reason, I do think that if anybody squeeze out 10 wins in the division, it's going to be Tennessee. And other than that, everybody else is just going to fall in line. And then poor Houston Texans. Trust parts.
Houston, poor Houston. That's all you can really say about it. Now, I'm not even going to defend my 14-3 here. Like I said, I go back now, and this probably should be more returning the lines of 10-5.
You
But
caused yourself on that.
I don't know. As I was looking at it, I'm like, well, but I feel the same way with you guys. It's just like this division. It's so up in the air. It's like you really don't. I feel like any given week, anybody can win the game against other division opponent. And it to me, if you look at what King Henry and what they got with Julio and AJ Brown is a stud. And if they can get things going there with Tannehill, that's why I like Tennessee winning this division. But yeah, the rest of this division is a toss up, man. I mean, I really don't know how this thing is going to go. I know the Texans are going to be terrible. I do know that much. I hope they prove wrong in some form or fashion, but I think they're going to be terrible. But we'll see how that goes as we go along. Now, our last division in the AFC before we swing to the NFC, we're talking about the AFC West. Now, don't be surprised what y'all see from Jay here, ladies and gentlemen. What you see there is a 12-5 LA Chargers team led by Justin Herbert winning the division. I will repeat, you see Justin Herbert winning the division and Kansas City going 10-7. Man, people that see this are going to be upset. So I'm going to let Jay defend
him. Jay.
So Jay, you got the Chargers going 12-5, and this Chargers team has a lot of expectations with Justin Herbert coming into this one. I see you got the Raiders in last place, but I'm not surprised there. I know how you feel about Gruden. And then you got the Broncos finishing in third. Give me your thoughts on this AFC West.
For all of this, I mean, I really think Tampa Bay gave the diagram of what they need to do to slow down Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to say he's still a once-in-a-generation talent, but the pieces around him, the offensive line's been completely redone. Andy Reid is a genius. I'm sure they'll figure something out, but I still don't have that faith that I had at the beginning of last year in the Chiefs. Now, with everybody being healthy with the Chargers, that defense is going to be nasty. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That secondary is underrated beyond belief. And then you add in the pass rush of, just Bosa being on the field by himself. That's two linemen and a chipping running back that you got over here doing something to try to take care of him. So it's very close. It's hard. And
it's Chargers.
And the Chiefs, again, besides Thornhill, what have they done defensively to help themselves? They still got Frank Clark. That's great.
I see this division, and like I said, the Chargers are everybody's loving the Chargers right now. I think with most of us in this division, we do have the Chargers finishing second. Cody, you got them a little bit higher, but you and James both have them at 11-6. But what are your thought process, Cody, looking into this division? You got Kansas City 13-4, the Chargers 11-6, Broncos 8-9, and the Raiders at 6-11. So, tell me what your thoughts here in the AFC West.
Well, I mean, I'll start with the Raiders first. This is Derek Carr's last year in the black and silver. Don't know who's going to be the quarterback next year. Might be Aaron Rodgers, as James said earlier. But, I mean, this is a wrap for Derek Carr in the Raiders jersey. Enough said with that. Going up to the Broncos, let me tell you, the record might not show it, but I'm high on the Broncos. I mean, they're going to lose week 1, but outside of that, I'm very high on the Broncos. That defense is great. Patrick Surtain I'm hearing that he's picking up that defense like crazy. So he's going to be a ball hawk this year. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater can do what he does. I think that they could possibly sneak into the playoffs, but I have them at, I think, 8-9, 9-8. It's just the Chargers, I really wanted to give them the edge over Kansas City, but just the way the schedule fell, and I still think that even though this is, Herbert's second year, he had a great rookie year last year, I think it's still going to be some bumps in the road for him. So that's why I gave Kansas City the division.
All right. So, so it's tough because I see Kansas City, and I kind of get what Jay said. I still see that Super Bowl in my mind. My biggest hesitation for Kansas City, and at least on my part, was I sat there and said, well, I don't know how that offensive line is going to be. They've reconstructed that offensive line, and they brought in some pieces. They got Orlando Brown from the Ravens. I think he's going to be a huge help to that line, and I want to see what they can do. Now, like you said, Andy Reid is a genius, so he's going to figure out something, Jay. I agree with you on that. He's great on that. The Chargers are 10-7 in my mind because I think that they can really – I really think that Herbert's going to have a really good year. And I think that as long as the new head coach, I think it's I want to say his last name. I want to say it's Stokely, but I could be wrong. I know he's going to be bringing some of that Rams offense or that McVay swag there, so we'll see if that goes along. I got the Raiders at 4-13, and I know Lamont's still mad at me. Lamont, I love you, brother. I'm
not mad at all. I see the potential. I do. I do.
I think my biggest thing with the Broncos this season, for at least for myself, is I look at this Broncos team, and it's just the quarterback situation that has me worried more than anything. Defense is going to be fine. Patrick Surtain, he's already showing glimpses of greatness up there in Denver, but that's my one concern. I am a big concern there. Now, James, you've got this thing going. Kansas City 14-3, the Chargers 11-6, Broncos 7-10, and then you have the Raiders at 5-12. Give me your thoughts on the AFC West.
First of all, I mean, we got to comment on what Jay said. Jay, while Tampa Bay may have given the league the blueprint on how to beat Patrick Mahomes, to execute a blueprint, you still got to have the tools. And outside of Tampa Bay's front seven, who else in the NFL has those tools, maybe except for Washington's D-line? Like, nobody else has those pass rushers. Nobody else has those linebackers that can cover ground like they do down in Tampa Bay.
The Browns.
So, the Browns have been looking for linebackers for like the past 2-3 years. I mean, and they do have Garrett. We got to see if Clowney's going to stay healthy.
And they've got Clowney.
We got to see if Clowney can stay healthy for a full season.
Week 1.
He hit him with the he hit him with the
And then you're talking about linebackers. We got to see if Wilson Koromaya plays. We didn't even know if Mac Wilson's going to be on the team to start the season. I mean, Cleveland has pieces. They definitely aren't Tampa's pieces, though, man. You got to give your team a little bit more credit than that.
Just a little.
I'm disappointed in you as a Bucs fan.
I'm
disappointed in you, bro.
That way, so everybody don't think I'm on that wagon because I want to.
Now we seen what the defense can do is real.
Yeah, right. Real facts.
I mean, you have two linebackers that cover ground from sideline to sideline, can stop the run, rush the passer, drop in coverage. Ain't nobody else really got that right now. Not to mention you got Sue up front, can rush the passer, stop the run. You got Barrett and JPP coming off the edge. Winfield in the back. The only weakness are your corners, and they're still getting better.
Yeah, it's
so I mean, blueprint is one thing, tools are another. And right now, there's no other defense in this league that's proven to have the tools to slow down Patrick Mahomes like the Bucs did. So with that being said, my homeboy is getting a division in this one again.
Hey,
got that off my chest.
We'll say everything, okay?
Week 1 will say that Patrick Mahomes is back, the line is fixed, and the Chiefs are going back.
James can play.
So Justin Herbert, he's definitely going to settle for second place. I feel like when it comes to the Chargers, they're another piece or two away. We got to see if Eckler bounces back. I think he had a few injuries last season. We got to see if Herbert can actually reproduce what he did his rookie year. Teams are going to have tape on him now. They're going to know his tendencies. We got to see if he can click with this new offense. I mean, I felt Anthony Lynn maybe should have got another year. I mean, he was clicking with the rookie.
Yes.
I mean, they only lost the games. I mean, they had Tampa beat. They had New Orleans beat. If they had a little bit more of a run game last year and were able to close out some games, who knows? Lynn maybe still has a job. Maybe they were even a playoff team last year. But, we got to see if that offense stays where it was. Hopefully, Derwin James stays healthy. I mean, when he plays for their defense, he is a huge difference maker coming off that back end and the secondary. So hopefully James can stay healthy. Joey Bosa, hopefully he has another good season. Definitely think the Chargers are going to get his second. When it comes to Denver with their quarterback situation, I mean, Teddy's nice. Teddy's a bridge quarterback, though.
Right.
We don't know if Teddy's really going to be able to protect the team and propel it to the next level. I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy, you got Cortland Sutton. KJ Hamler is a deep threat. Can Teddy get him a ball, though? We just don't know. And then playing in Denver, you got the elements, you got the wind. I mean, it's mile high. Is he going to be able to throw the ball through that wind in December, in November, when they're playing outside in the elements and whatnot? So, I mean, there's some questions to be had there. Hopefully Von Miller does come back and have another good year, though. Von's been up there, so hopefully he gets back from the ankle injury, has another good showing. And then the Raiders, I mean, Spider Y2 Banana just isn't cutting it no more. It's just not.
Yes.
I mean, Gruden doesn't know. I don't know if Gruden really knows what he's doing at the moment as far as the players he wants. I mean, you're cutting third-round draft picks for pennies on the dollar. I mean, you drafting guys in the first round that everybody's like, what are you doing? I feel like Mike Mayock is a figurehead. I feel like, at this point, he's going to be back on the NFL Network. He can even get his job back.
Hey, Darrell, what was that message I just sent you?
It's rough out in Vegas.
It's crazy out in the streets. It's crazy. And last but not least, Lamont.
James, keep it real.
I know, right?
It's terrible, man.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, Lamont got Kansas City going 13-4. The Chargers 9-8, Broncos 8-9, and the Raiders 7-10. Give us your thoughts on the AFC West.
Yeah, I mean, this division has the tendency to, besides, of course, the Chiefs and getting Mahomes and Andy Reid and that wonderful connection they got there. This division has the tendency to shoot themselves in the foot, right? We've seen it time and time again. And I see, even though, rosters improved, you got some changes on both sides of the ball for multiple teams. I just think that, it's gonna rear its ugly head again. The Chargers, you look at their schedule, right? And I think they're definitely the next up in this division. I think most of us agree with that. But you look at their schedule, the first 6 games, they got the tough defense in Washington. They got the Chiefs in week 3. They got the Browns in week 5, and then they go to Baltimore to play the Ravens, right? The scary part about the Chargers is that they usually do start off behind, right? Like that's their MO. They start off behind, they try to make a comeback in the season. And I see the same thing happening here, except you got a young quarterback, you got people coming off injuries like Eckler, like James said, right? So I do think that they get it together, and I do think that Herbert, he's the next up in the division as far as quarterbacks go. But I feel like he is young, and I just don't think that they turn the corner just yet. I think there's still a few pieces away, but they'll be right there. And as far as my Broncos, man, I had to be honest. I feel like defense is definitely their strong suit, but they're only 1 or 2 injuries away from slacking off, right? And as great as they are, and as great as they can be, you can still run on them if you do it right. And I think we've seen that, over the past couple of years. Like, if you go at them right, you can still gain some yards on the ground. So I think, that wears you down towards the end of the season. And then, of course, you got the quarterback question. Everybody knows it's still there. And until I see it, I gotta call it like I see it, man. I love Denver to death, but that quarterback position has really been hurting them. And as far as the Raiders, well, I think James hit it right on the head. Mayock, you got Gruden. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
I think it's funny that everybody starts laughing immediately when you talk about the Raiders, and that's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. Deal.
Cody said, I believe, is about this is the last year that we're going to see Carr there. Wouldn't it be a John Gruden type of thing to send Carr to Houston, along with 3 first-round draft picks to get Deshaun?
Yep, that does sound like something he would do. But why wouldn't you do it? I mean, maybe Derek can go and get some redemption for his brother.
Somebody
got to go get redemption for his brother.
No,
man.
Never.
With what
they did that man dirty. There is no redemption for that.
David Carr like a stepchild. At least he got a ring.
He's the only
that don't even make up for it.
This millennium that started a first-round quarterback that won his first starting game.
And then got sacked 73 times for the rest of the year. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
They gave a man a cape for being sacked 200 times. You don't do that. The man had 200 candles, 1 for each sack. Who do that? You still see them sacks.
The Texans won all those divisions, man. I'm still trying to figure out how the Texans won all those divisions for so many years. They just kept finding ways. It's ridiculous. Like the South just
DeAndre Hopkins.
That's true. All right, now let's head to the NFC. We're going to start off with the NFC West. Now, this thing right here, we've got 3 different winners in this one. Cody and James both have the Rams at 12-5 and winning the division. Myself and Jay have the Seahawks winning the division at 13-4, and Lamont. Lamont, I'm gonna tell you what, my friend, I was almost this close. You see how close I got the record here to have the Cardinals win this division, but Lamont has the Cardinals win this division at 11-6. So Lamont, I will go ahead and start with you on this one because I want to know your thought process behind the Cardinals winning the division.
Yeah, I think it's finally time for the Murray and the Kingsbury to marriage to work, right? Like, we didn't know what to expect when we first got there. Last year was a pretty interesting time for them. You know, I like to say that I saw Kyler turn the corner. You know, and even in some losses that they had, like he just played with exceptional poise, and I feel like he's going to be next up in that division. I feel like he's going to be the guy, you know, that can really extend their wins. And I feel like, you know, people came to Arizona this offseason to play with him, you know, and they specifically said that on both sides of the ball, they believe in him as a leader. They believe in him, you know, as a quarterback. And I think that goes a long way. So I think that, you know, I mean, defensively, they're still going to have to figure it out, you know, which is why I think the division is so tight. And I still have them at 11-6 because I feel like it can be a weakness for them. But I think, you know, you got new regimes, right? Like the Rams, new regime there, you know, that they still got to make that work, you know, and they lost pieces, offensive coordinator gone, right? So I don't know. I got Arizona. I think they'll squeeze it out. I think the Seahawks are on a decline. You know, they're about to, you know, bust it up, you know, to be honest, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm very, very interested there. I like your sentiment there because, like you said, those guys came to Arizona to play with him. J.J. Watt, nobody saw J.J. Watt going to Arizona, and then he's there. But I like the way Kyler is. I had him as my breakout player last year because I thought Kyler would be that guy. He's a quiet leader, and they just play hard for him. And we've seen some glimpses, but we'll see. Now I'm going to swing to Cody. Cody, you got this Rams team going 12-5, the Seahawks 11-6, the Cardinals 11-6, and the 49ers 9-8. Give me your thought process on this division, my man.
I think this was one division that I had under the microscope for the longest time out of all these other divisions, trying to pick what the records are going to be. I think I did their division like 4 different times because at one point I had everybody going at least 12-5. And it's like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to really break it down. And the reason I had the 49ers at 9-8, obviously that's going to be progress from last year. I think that'd be 3 extra wins compared to last year. But, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback play. You know, you got Garoppolo who, you know, he's up and down. Can he stay healthy? I think Trey Lance is going to be a good quarterback, but going into his rookie year, we don't know. That defense is what's going to be able to keep them in a lot of games this year. But that's why I have them at 9-8. One move this offseason that I think a lot of people aren't talking about is A.J. Green going to the Cardinals. We know Larry Fitzgerald isn't coming back. He hasn't necessarily said he's retiring, but he's not coming back to the Cardinals this year. But, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, and didn't they get, like, Rondell Moore? Or they got somebody in the draft.
Rondell Moore in the draft, I believe. Yeah.
I mean, this receiving core, Christian Kirk, this receiving core is going to be crazy. Kyler Murray's going to be able to get them the ball. So, you know, this is a division that I truly feel that anybody can win it, honestly. Mm-hmm. But the reason I picked the Rams to do it is because I think Stafford is that much better than Goff. He's going to be able to really get the ball to all these receivers. And you're really hoping that the 2 major defensive players on this team, Donald and Ramsey, can keep them going along and keep them in some games. So that's why I have them at 12-5.
Yeah, it's crazy, this division. It's crazy, this division. Now, James was kind of on the same path that you were here. Because if you look, 12-5, 12-5, 10-7, 10-7. I think we all think that this division is going to be really tough. I mean, you know, and so James, you got the Rams taking this thing, but give me your thought process on the division.
I mean, I know you said earlier you believe that the AFC North was the toughest division, but in my opinion, it's the NFC West. I mean, you're talking about teams where
crazy,
legit, all 4 of them could possibly make the playoffs this year. I mean, I had LA winning it. I feel like Cody said, Stafford is an upgrade over Goff. Now we'll have to see with the running game. You know, they did lose Cam Akers, but they brought in Sony Michel. Hopefully he can bounce back out in LA and Sean McVay's system. We do know Sean McVay is an offensive guy, offensive prodigy, it seems. So hopefully, you know, Stafford comes in, he learns that offense, he's able to digest it, make results on the field. I feel like their defense is always going to be clicking as long as you got Donald, as long as you got Ramsey in the back end, you're going to be good as far as the defense goes. I mean, literally, you can line up pretty much anybody next to Donald. I mean, when he's commanding triple teams, you just got to be able to beat one-on-one in the back maybe. So I believe, almost any pass rusher, they'd love to see that. So I definitely think LA takes this division. I had the Seahawks in second. I mean, they still got Russell Wilson, but there's a lot of change in Seattle. I mean, they just got their left tackle back in. Quandre Diggs was holding out. Looks like he just got back in the fold. So we got to see. I mean, there's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of noise from Seattle this offseason. We don't know if Russell Wilson wants to be there long term. I mean, they've always been competitive. They've always been a good team. But this might be the year that we finally start to see them maybe slip off a little bit. I mean, so far, Russell Wilson's never had a losing season since he's been in the league.
Crazy.
I don't know. This could be the first year he maybe teeters on that line. We'll have to wait and see, especially if there's any injuries that take place. Seattle might be seeing some slippage this year. When it comes to the Cardinals, man, it's tough because in my opinion, I mean, Kyler Murray really hasn't been special since the Hail Murray to beat the Bills last year. I mean, it's tough, man. You see Kyler, you see D-Hop, you see Green, and you just want to believe that it's going to work. But I don't know. I mean, the offense, we got to see if that comes together. I do feel like this might be Cliff Kingsbury's last shot to prove that he can take Murray and this team somewhere. I feel like if it doesn't get done this year, he might be gone. Because you got to look. I mean, Steve Keim, he's on borrowed time at this point. I mean, he's been there so long. He's got to choose 2 or 3 quarterbacks now, 2 or 3 head coaches. I mean, so if it doesn't work this year, they could clean house in Arizona, honestly, if it doesn't work out. I mean, like Lamonte said, their defense is coming along. They did take Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. They got J.J. Watt. They got Chandler Jones. We just got to see if everything actually works and comes out together this year. I will say I feel like it hurts them that they don't have a little bit more of a run game. I mean, James Conner is decent, but there was a reason Pittsburgh didn't want him back. Yeah. And then when it comes to the 49ers, I feel a little bit more confident if I knew who was actually going to play quarterback. I mean, Shanahan's basically just saying he's going with his gut as far as who's going out there. So it's like you don't know what to expect. And, I mean, I definitely think that factored into deciding where they fell in this division. I feel like overall the defense is definitely good enough to get them a few wins. But if you don't know who's playing quarterback for you, which is the most important position, it's going to be tough. I mean, we can honestly see him just start Trey Lance game 1 for 1 play and then just throwing Garoppolo. Like he said he's going off his gut. So maybe his gut feeling is like, hey, this first play for this season is going to knock him out. Hey, Trey, get in there and sling that joint right quick. You just don't know. So I feel like it's definitely going to be tough, but I feel like LA definitely is going to take this one.
It's crazy. Now, Jay, I'm heading to you here, man. Jay, me and you we kind of was even on this bad boy. We both got him 13-4.
Hard, man. Just because
it was a really tough division to do.
Everybody
Jay
said, you want to believe in somebody, and I mean, there's just so much that could happen here, so much that could happen there. Like James was just saying, gut feeling. How do you know it's not just a bad burrito you ate before the game? I will say, well, with the 49ers, I like the Trey Sermon ad because of the zone blocking scheme they run. And that's something the Cardinals don't have because, Chase Edmonds is their lead back right now. They've got all types of receivers. Their secondary, besides Budda Baker, I'm not impressed with. They can pass rush all they want, but 3-step drop and the ball's out of your hand. Pass rush don't mean a damn thing. Yeah. So, Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. He's won with less. And what the hell are they smoking paying Jamal Adams that much money? Jamal Adams has
all those picks. They gave him too many picks
in his career. Vince Wilfork has 3.
Dang. Vince Wilfork.
I guess they were smoking picks.
My man Vince, he's always around the ball. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
For me, a safety is a guy that you can put up in the box and you can also move back in coverage. If he can't catch a cold, what good is he?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I'm looking and
he's run support.
Well, and the Stafford experiment just it's iffy. There's so much stuff around him that he can do, but again, Stafford has proven he's a badass. He can stay on the field, but can he stay healthy?
Yeah. See, and when I was looking in this division, I said, well, Seattle still Seattle. I'm gonna still give him a little credit, but I agree with James. You don't know if this is going to be it that he finally, because this division is so tough. They could just have things not go their way. Like we did when they lost to Buffalo last season. That was the first shock to me. It really threw me off the way they played in that game, and they're just not the same team defensively. Now, offensively, they'll still figure some things out. They signed Dwayne Brown back, I believe. I think they locked him up, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know they've been in contract negotiations with him. So I like Seattle at 13-4. I really wanted to give the Cardinals a division, Lamont. I really wanted to give them this division. I thought about it. I mulled over it. I really like Kyler Murray. I'm on the Kyler Murray train. San Francisco defensively, if they come back healthy, because it's like 2 years ago when they were healthy, we saw how dangerous they were. They were nicked up last year. They were nicked up the year before, the in-between year. So if we're going based off of every other year, being hurt, being healthy, being hurt, being healthy, this is supposed to be the healthy year. This is an odd year. So odd year, they should do well based off of the trend. And I look at the Rams and I say, well, I like Stafford, but I just don't know if it'll all come together. Their running game has kind of dwindled a little bit over the last couple of years. Even when Gurley was there right before he left, it just starting to really slow down a little bit. And I like Woods. He does good things. Cooper Kupp, guys like that. But now that Stafford has all these weapons, can he make things happen? But I still think in that division, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Cody?
I just wanted to say one more thing about the Rams real quick. I know a lot of people talk about the running game with Cam Akers being down. Are they really going to be able to do anything? But if we look at the numbers Stafford has put up in Detroit, and he's never really had a running game.
True.
And then you factor in he's never had a defense like this.
True.
I mean, how much better are his numbers going to be now that, the offense is going to be able to be on the field a lot more because the defense is able to cause 3. Now it's probably even get better field position with turnovers and stuff. So I just feel like this is the perfect storm for Matthew Stafford because this is probably the best team he's ever played on.
I can definitely see that. I definitely see that.
As Darrell says, I don't hate that.
I don't hate that. I'm still gonna get that shirt, Jada. I don't hate that shirt with me smiling in the back like this.
He's got to play against Seattle and the 49ers twice a year.
Yeah,
that's true. But I mean, so I will say this though, like in his tenure being in the AFC North, the Bears have had a very good defense for the most part. Minnesota has had a very good defense for the most part. Very true. So I don't know. I feel like this division defensively isn't that much different than what he's used to playing in the NFC North. He doesn't have to go against Aaron Rodgers twice a year. So that's always good too.
No, it's
now, Jay, what were you saying, Jay?
Well, I was just going to say their third string quarterback is Bryce Perkins. So, I mean, there's always that to look for.
Yeah, I'll take Bryce. Bryce is always tough.
He looked good in the preseason.
I got to see Bryce this weekend, man. I didn't talk to him, and then I saw him though. I didn't talk to him and Joe Reed. Him and Joe Reed on the sideline at the UVA game. I ain't speak to him. Like, I tell you who I did see, and this is no disrespect to Charles Snowden, but seeing him wearing that Bear stuff not making me happy. Still, I'll always look at him in the UVA colors. That blue and orange I can deal with. All right, let's swing to the division that was the NFC least this year, the NFC East. Now, this division is intriguing. Now, we got 3 of the guys, James, Jay, and Lamont, got the Washington football team winning this division. Myself and Cody believe that Dak Prescott and the crew can get this thing back, to where most people believe they should be. So, I'm going to start this one off. I'll start this one off with Jay. Jay, you got the Washington football team going 12-5, Dallas 10-7, the Giants 9-8, and then you got the Eagles at 7-10. Give me your thoughts on this division.
But we'll start at the bottom. The Eagles have no damn clue what they're doing. They really don't. They don't want to sign anybody. They don't want to give extensions. They don't want to show love. Is it Jalen Hurts? Are they going to trade? Only God knows. And, then we move to what's that other team? Oh, the Giants, that team.
Wow.
I love the Giants. I'm still not sold on Jones being the quarterback. I really ain't. Danny Dimes, they should have traded Ingram. I don't know why the hell they brought him back for anything. Their wide receiver core is still very questionable. And then you flip to the other side of the ball. It's not what I remember a New York Giants defense looking like at all. When I was a kid, you had Strahan, Tuck, JPP. You had people that you were scared to line up across from them. Now you're just like, all right, let's do this. So, and Shaq Barkley coming back.
All right, let's do this.
But you can't put everything on Shaq because he really messed his knee up back. So you can't put everything in that boat. And it's a hard division. I'm gonna say. We called it the least last year because they sucked. There was no good part about it. But really, across the board, if it coached right and done right, this is a great division.
Right.
I didn't pick the Cowboys to do very well because I don't want to get beaten for picking them and them sucking because the fiance is a Cowboys fan. That's true statement. She hates Darrell. But and for Washington, as long as I don't know what the hell they see in Fitzmagic. I think Heineke, he played his best game that any of us have seen in the playoffs against what James just got done saying, one of the best defenses that's set up right now, and he did decent. He almost beat him. So why not just give the kid the reins and let him go at it? They brought in some pieces. The defense is just stacked. I'm still scratching my head about some of their cuts, but Riverboat Ron knows it all.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the deal is with Jimmy Moreland. Somebody sign my man Jimmy. So Lamont, you got it kind of tight at the top. You and James both agreed that it's going to be Washington, then the Giants, then Dallas, and then you got the Eagles. So Lamont, you got a battle up top between the Giants and the Washington football team. Tell me why is that, my man?
Yeah, I think the Giants to me are the thing about the NFC East is that they always beat each other up, right? I think that's the thing about them is that it's always tight. Like in some form or fashion, it's like it's never an easy go, right? They're at each other's necks all the time, and I think this year is it's a year where that second place team can be kind of sneaky, right? We see it all the time. Everybody's concentrating on winning the division, but a lot of times we've seen that second team sneak into the playoffs, and then they'll be the ones that go further, right? And I think this is kind of like what happens. And with the Giants, I feel like they don't have that many expectations as far as they definitely have to improve the offense. But I like Kenny Galladay. I think he's a beast. You have him there. You got, you still got they had their bright spots last year. So, the question is, does Daniel Jones get better? And I think he does. Other than Washington, I don't see them having real threats in the division. And I feel like, you can take the Cowboys one time because they're the Cowboys. Let's face it, they like to shoot themselves in the foot. They do. And I think that, if you can get one on them, the rest of the schedule may take care of itself. It just happens that way. And I think the Giants are that one team in November, December, you don't want to see them, right? Because if they can get their defense together.
They always play tough in November and December.
They always play tough. And it's like if they get their mojo going, they're gonna be tough to slow down. They're just a tough knit football team. But as far as Washington, I think, their defense, carries them over the top and they do win the division. We'll see what happens, with quarterback and everything else there. As far as the Eagles, I think that Jay kind of got that right. They can't seem to take two steps in the same direction.
They don't know what they want.
Yeah, they just like they see a shiny new toy and it's like, oh, that's what I want. Oh no, I don't want it. So it's like they're gonna have to make some tough decisions and stick with them if they want to improve. But good luck to Jalen Hurts and the boys.
All right, now we're going to James here. James, you got the Washington football team 11-6, New York 7-10. Then you got Dallas at 5-12. It's very intriguing on that 5-12 for Dallas. I think I know why you're doing that, but I'm gonna keep my comments to yourself and see where you go from there. And then you got the Eagles at 3-14. James, tell us about the NFC East.
I mean, everybody's touched on the Eagles, so it's bad. It's bad. And I feel bad because it's like, man, I like Jalen Hurts, and it's like they gave him this to work with. They don't even know if they want to roll with Jalen. You bring in Minshew, but the organization supposedly believes in Jalen. It's a lot going on in Philly. Hopefully they get it together, but it ain't gonna be this year. And then as far as Dallas, I mean, we had the Prescott injury already coming off the ankle. Then he had the shoulder or the lat injury that no one really knew that he wasn't really allowed to play with during the preseason. And now he's coming back. And his first game back, he's got to face Tampa Bay. I mean, it doesn't look good for Dallas. I mean, hopefully, if they stay healthy, they might be able to win more than I had at the 5-12. But I believe we're asking for a lot right now. We don't know how Dak's going to perform. We already see Zach Martin's out for the first game due to COVID. We don't know if Zeke's going to have a bounce back year. I mean, he looks fantastic. It looks like he's in shape. But how's he going to be able to perform on the field? Amari Cooper's back. It looks like he's healthy and ready to go. But if Dak's not there to give him the ball, I mean, I don't think anybody really has any faith in Will Grier to get it done. And you cut everybody else as far as DiNucci and Gilbert and all that. So Dallas, there's a lot of questions, like always with Dallas. And then, on the defensive side, how's DeMarcus Lawrence going to look? Is he going to have some help? Or is everybody just going to be beating him off the ball and beating him up and double-teaming him all year long? The secondary, we don't know if Diggs is an answer on one side, but who's on the other side? There's a lot of questions right now in Dallas. I do like Michael Parsons, though. I got to say, I do like Parsons. I feel like he was a good pick for them. He might be the linchpin that can turn this defense around, maybe help out some of those guys we were talking about on defense. But I feel like Dallas is still another year away. Definitely another year away. With the Giants, we got to see what Daniel Jones does, man. I mean, we really do. They got him weapons. They got him tight ends. He's got Saquon coming back. They got him wide receivers. He's got somewhat of a nice offensive line. They got some guys that, they might be able to keep him from being on his back. If they can't, he's got the wheels to roll out of the pocket at least. We just got to hope he doesn't trip up on the grass. So, sorry, Cody. We got to hope he doesn't trip up on that grass.
My man was gone. He was gone, man.
He was too fast. He was too fast. It was all good.
Oh, my God.
No, that was Manti Te'o's girlfriend, bro.
Wow.
Well, she is a hell of a tackler. I'll say that.
I will say that.
She was the only man that could catch him that day.
She played safety for Sycamore High.
Oh, my gosh.
Stop.
But, yeah, as long as Manti Te'o's girlfriend is out there playing safety, I feel like the Giants are making noise. But I got my faith in the football team, man. I mean, you got Chase Young. You got that young defense coming together. I mean, the football team is where it's at. We just got to hope Fitzmagic doesn't turn Fitztragic. But as long as he remembers what jersey to throw to, I feel like Washington can get it done this year.
He's not James, bro.
All right. So
I don't know, man. They play for the same team and they do the same things.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're telling me Fitzmagic got the eye surgery that Jameis needed and finally got. Maybe we'll see, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Now we had me and Cody. We both got Dallas. I might be delusional here. Got Dallas at 13 and 4, but I'm gonna say this. I got Dallas winning this division because I feel like offensively, if you look at that team, then the key word obviously, if they stay healthy, there's no reason in the world why they can't put up the numbers they were putting up in those first 4 games last year. And you got a CeeDee Lamb who's a little bit, he's gained a little bit more experience and he knows his stuff. If they're healthy, if they can get Zeke back to he doesn't even have to be Zeke from the first 2 years. He's got to be able to produce. You got to give me anywhere between 1,000 to 1,200 yards. And then you got Tony Pollard, who's come on and has been a really nice addition to that Dallas backfield. When Zeke was struggling, Tony came through for them, in different ways. So I like that. Now, I really wanted to get Washington this division, but my thing that I was scared of the most is when I saw the preseason game against the Bengals. That is a scary indicator for me in their offense. There was 3 or 4 times they got all the way down the field into the red zone, and then Scott Turner didn't know what to call, and then they just gave it away. And it happened 3 times in that game. And they kept that offense on the field at least almost going into the third quarter because they wanted to I think they were trying to get some points to show some, something positive. Antonio Gibson looked great, moving the ball, getting up and down the field. McKissick, who had a good year last year when Antonio got hurt, he came out there. He did good things. They got the young kid, Jerry Patterson, who was making nice plays. The Darren Sproles, clone that their people are starting to say. So they got nice pieces. They got McLaurin. But they got into the red zone a couple times and couldn't make it happen. That's my concern. Scott Turner is my concern in DC. That's why I couldn't give it to him just yet. But defensively, they have a Super Bowl defense. That is the best way you can put it. They have a Super Bowl defense. It's all about the offense. Then you got the Giants. I know Cody beat me up a little bit about this. I want the Giants to do well. I want the Giants to do well because, like they said, in the offseason, you pick up all these pieces. They pick up Galladay. My only problem with Galladay, hurt hamstring. What is he out with now? Hamstring. Will he be on the field for Danny Dimes? Will Danny Dimes collect himself, get himself together this year? That's my biggest thing. I think their defense did well towards the end of the season last year. They started playing really well, just couldn't materialize at the end and win that division. Obviously, and you can thank the Eagles for that as well. And then, of course, the Eagles are garbage. I know I shouldn't say all of that, but it's just they don't know what they're doing. Jay said it best. They don't know what they're doing. So,
sorry, Ty.
Yeah. Now I'm going to swing to Cody. Cody, 10-7 for Dallas. Washington 9-8, Giants 8-9, Eagles 4-13. Tell me what you got going, brother.
Yeah, I'll start at the bottom with the Eagles. Like Jay said, I mean, they don't really know what they're doing. I don't feel like they have all the right pieces in place right now to really contend in a lackluster division, to say the least. Moving up to the Giants, I think James and Lamont said it best with, it's really all on Daniel Jones. The weapons, they gave him the weapons this offseason. I will disagree. I forgot which one of y'all said it, but the offensive line, I still don't think is fully there. But still, Daniel Jones needs to cut down on the turnovers. It's that simple. I have faith in our defense. Our defense balled out last year. I think we'll be a top 10 defense this year, but the offense needs to get it together. With Washington, their offense scares me in a bad way. As you bring in Fitzpatrick, who is a gunslinger, and they've been used to the past couple years having game managers. So what happens with gunslingers? They can throw for touchdowns, but they're going to throw a lot more interceptions and have turnovers as well. So that could force the defense to be on the field a little longer than what they're used to. And I have Dallas winning the division, and it's because they have 4 things in their favor right now. Number 1 is getting Dak Prescott back. That's huge, obviously. Number 2, they finished last in either third or last in the division, so they're going to have theoretically a better schedule, easier schedule, I should say. Third is, while he might have been an up and down head coach, they bring in Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator, and I think that he's going to be able to turn them around defensively. And the fourth thing that I think that they have in their favor, there has not been a repeat division winner in this division since the Eagles did it back in 2003 and 2004. So we're saying, 17 years it's been? I think Dallas has a lot of momentum going. And if we really look at it, had Dak not got hurt last year, Dallas wins that division easily.
Yeah, I will say this, but I'm going to swing it to Jay after this. The one thing I agree with Cody is with the Quinn statement. The defensive coaches that go back from being head coaches to the coordinators, when that's their focus, they usually thrive. That's what I've seen in the past. Todd Bowles is a huge example of that. Bowles was the Jets head coach. He goes down to Tampa Bay, and he just turns that defense into a monster. He was a great defensive coordinator in Arizona. He comes back here. He's a great defensive coordinator. Some people are just great defensive coordinators. Quinn was a great defensive coordinator. He wasn't a terrible coach. He wasn't a great coach at times. He wasn't a terrible coach. You got the Falcons to the Super Bowl, so that's got to mean something. I know James will agree with you on that, but I like what you said there. I think that eventually he'll get that defense where they need to be.
Well, he got his Devin White already in my.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
But my biggest concern with Dallas is the fact, and none of us brought it up, he got paid. And the biggest problem I've seen, Kirk Cousins, you get paid, you stop giving a shit. To be honest, I hate to put it that way. You got your money. Who cares?
I think it's a little different with Dak, just, how he is as a person, and obviously playing with what they call America's team. He knows the spotlight is on him. I think he's a competitor. I don't think he's the type that's like, oh, I got my money, I'm going to give up now.
Well,
let's hope that's not the case.
At
least
I hope that. I mean, just because Trevor Siemian. I mean, Jesus.
James is not feeling Dan Quinn. Tell him how you feel.
James, what you got?
I mean, can we just point out the fact Dan Quinn made us living on defense. Atlanta brought him in for defense. The defense was better when he stopped calling plays.
This is also true.
2 seasons in a row. The defense was better when he stopped calling plays. I
gotta give you credit on that. That's true.
So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was the personnel, but if it's personnel, hey, you're the head coach. You're telling the GM who you like for your defense,
right?
And the defense was worse when you had the reins of it. So I don't know. Not to mention, you brought the same guys from Atlanta to Dallas with KZ and Neil,
right?
Who were both hurt in Atlanta.
I was going to say that you did have some that were hurt. That was what I was going to say.
This is sometimes for 2 quarters, though. Great.
Yeah.
Bro, it's 17 games now. Forget 2 quarters. We got 17 games to play, and I don't know if you're going to be there for all of them.
Oh, all right, let's go.
We're talking about 2 quarters.
And swing to the next division.
Talking about quarters?
We're going to head. We're going to head up north, and we're going to talk about the NFC North. Now, as much as I want to smile looking at this, and I'm going to try not to because I needed somebody to pick the Vikings so I don't feel like the jinx kicks in. So thanks, guys, for not doing that for me. I appreciate that. But we're looking at this bad boy. Everybody's got the Packers finishing first. Everybody's got the Vikings finishing second. And then it kind of just goes back and forth. 2 people have Cody and James got the Bears finishing in third, and everybody else has the Lions finishing in third. And it's almost similar records on that end. But I'm going to start off this one with James because I like the fact that you got Green Bay going 15-2. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with you, James. You got the Packers 15-2, Vikings 10-7, Bears 6-11. Then you got the Lions at 4-13. Yeah. So give me your thought process on the NFC North.
I mean, it's simple, man. Last dance. I mean, this might be Rodgers and Adams' last go at it, man. Last bite at the apple. So they gonna show out. They're gonna show out, man. But I feel like when it comes to this division, we all know Green Bay's at the top. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones out of the backfield, been beasting, solid. Hopefully he stays healthy. Got his money, so he should hopefully continue to ball out. I am a little nervous that Bakhtiari is still out with the ACL. But if they can stay solid until he gets back, when he gets back, that'll show up that left tackle side. But then on defense, you still got pass rushers. I feel like your secondary is starting to come together. You spent another draft pick on corner opposite Jair Alexander. Don't do it, Jay. We will not be seeing the back of Kevin King's jersey this season, chasing Scotty Miller.
Kevin King.
All right. I feel like, that defense on the other side, you got somebody opposite Jair Williams that could possibly, help him out on the other end. I feel like this is going to be Green Bay's last chance to possibly get it done, especially if Rodgers isn't there anymore. I feel like once he leaves, that's it. That's really it. When it comes to the Vikings always do good in odd number years. I don't know what it is, but this is an odd number year. So the Vikings, I feel like they're going to be back at it. If Cousins can stay healthy, I feel like that definitely helps them out as well. Their defense, Hunter coming back, he's great off the edge. I mean, you got Aaron Kendricks in the middle of their defense. Their secondary has always been solid, and you still got Harrison Smith back there. I know Anthony Harris did leave to go to Philly. I don't know if he's liking that right now. But, I mean, I feel like, Minnesota's definitely going to be there to hang on, possibly even sneak into the playoffs if they can get maybe 1 or 2 more wins. If they could possibly split with the Packers, I mean, we could possibly see the Vikings sneak into the playoffs. When it comes to the Bears, I really don't know what we're getting. I mean, they're telling us Nagy's starting, but then there's a possibility Justin Fields could play. And Matt Nagy's just trying to save his job at this point. I mean, he's got to do something because he's another one of those coaches where it's like, how many more years do you get? I mean, you've had Trubisky, who was a guy that you all picked out, and it just didn't work. Now you have Fields, but you also brought in the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Brought in Dalton. I mean, we got to see how it works. but we don't know what we're getting. I mean, Khalil Mack's possibly like, why did I choose to come here? I mean, I'm at another team where the offense just can't seem to figure it out, but the defense is solid, or at least good. So we just don't know what we're getting. And then when it comes to Detroit, I mean, they're biting kneecaps, and that doesn't necessarily lead to wins. So while they're down there eating those kneecaps, they're going to be in the bottom of the North too. So, yeah.
Well,
Detroit.
Well, all right. I'm gonna go next and then knock this out quick. I'm gonna let y'all go and let the experts really handle. But I got Green Bay going 13-4. I think this is the last dance. And I mean, unless the Green Bay can find a way to charm Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think will happen unless Jordan Love absolutely continues to look miserable at times. He does not do well under pressure. So that's one thing that's going to be going in Aaron's favor if they decide to keep him. The Vikings, I have 5-12. And that might be because of hate. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm just going to be as honest with you as possible. I cannot stand the Minnesota Vikings. But my thing is, there's something about Kirk Cousins that just doesn't stick well with me. And I don't, Dalvin Cook has been injured. That makes me a little bit worried. Their defense, their cornerbacks have been kind of fading. They love drafting cornerbacks. Me and Jay talk about this all the time. They draft cornerbacks. They'll start off doing well, and then they just kind of go away. But I got them going 5-12. I almost had the Lions coming in second place in this division. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to go back on camera for this. I know a lot of people think Dan Campbell is crazy because he's a little bit loony in those press conferences, but I like him. And if you look at what the coaching staff, look at the coaching staff that he brought in some really nice names. Aaron Glenn, he got Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator. He's got some good pieces there on the coaching front. Golf may not be Stafford, but I do like that there. The only problem I do have is that they're probably going to have a better running game this year than they have passing game. This is going to be the first time in a long time that their running game is probably going to be better than their passing game. And then the Bears, if Andy Dalton's starting the whole season, I don't like that. I really do think they should go Justin Fields. So that's my explanation of the NFC North. Let's go to Jay. You got the Packers 10-7, Vikings 7-10, Lions 6-11, and the Bears at 4-13. Give me your thought process on this.
I put the Bears down there because like you touched on, why not? You drafted Fields high. He looks very comfortable and good. If Fields starts, my entire thing changes. But I don't think that's the way they're going to go. With the Lions, Dan Campbell is, I believe, trying to do what Flores did down in Miami. He's building his own identity and team from what he's got. So this is still a retooling year to see what they can do.
By kneecaps.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as the Vikings, I have no idea. I mean, I think it's time for Zimmer to go. Their linebackers are decent, but they're old. That's the thing. Harrison Smith is old. Didn't they bring back Everson Griffin and then cut his?
And then they released him. Yeah, they brought him back and released.
He's on practice squad.
He's on the practice squad.
Practice squad, man. Griff's on the practice squad.
Kirk Cousins is making $28 million a year. Adam Thielen is all you get. I mean,
he's got Jefferson too, though.
He got Jefferson. Jefferson's a bright.
He's got Jefferson.
I really thought Jefferson broke his collarbone with that catch, but I'm gonna let that go. I love Jefferson, but again, Kirk Cousins burned a lot of bridges with the COVID thing that he said, and I bet this might be his last year, along with Zimmer's last year in Minnesota, and this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah, so he better get his shit together.
Who you telling?
The reason I have them down at 10-7 is because they didn't bring anybody in to help stop the run.
What's new? What's new? I'm sorry. My emotions are getting to me. Lamont, we're gonna head to you, my man. All right, Lamont has the Packers 11-6, the Vikings at 7-10, Lions at 6-11, and the Bears at 3-14. What do you got for me, brother?
Yeah, I'm as you can see, my records are almost spot on with Jay. I think we're right there. I'll start at the top. I think the Packers, they just have too much firepower for the division to contend. The guys, last dance, A-Rod and Devontae Adams going to do their thing. And I think they kind of have that mindset, kind of like their counterparts in the NBA, like Milwaukee, right? Like their thing was next play, next game, mindset. They're not even thinking about the future. And I think that's the kind of mindset that's dangerous, in the sports world, is that you're just trying to win the next play, right? And I think a lot of times that turns around and you can get the top out of your potential with that. And so I think that Green Bay is going to be, far and ahead of the rest of the division. Next, I got the Vikings at 7-10. Just like Jay said, I don't think they turned the corner. They have more of the same. It's a more the same with them. They've had a lot of turnover on the defensive side of the ball, and that consistency. I don't believe in it. Then you go down to Detroit. I mean, just like you said, Dara, I like the coaching that they have there. I like Anthony Lynn in there. I like, the new regime. I think that it's something that, looking at it from afar, I think you can buy into it. The question is, do they have the personnel there to execute yet? Sure. And I think that they're just not ready. And as far as the Bears, we thought they all took the step by drafting Fields. It was the talk of the draft, but we won't see him on the field yet. And until that happens and they're ready to actually turn over that new leaf for the franchise, then they're going to be more of the same.
Yeah, I'm cool with that though. They can be more of the same. I'm good with that. Cody, we're gonna finish up with you for the NFC North. Packers 13-4. So me and you definitely agree on that. Vikings 6-11, Bears 4-13, and the Lions 2-15. Give me your thoughts on the NFC North.
Yeah, I mean, every year I have a team that I don't know what to do with. Last year for me, it was the Broncos. This year it's the Vikings. It's like, God, they can make the playoffs, but it's like, you just don't know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? So this year it's the Vikings for me. And, to the point of, yes, they have a great defense. They have the pieces in place, but it's just the offense. They get lackadaisical sometimes. They don't hit on all cylinders. Sometimes it looks stagnant. And I mean, I think you can see the same happening this year. Hopefully Kirk Cousins stays healthy. Hopefully Dalvin Cook stays healthy. The offensive line can keep Kirk Cousins up. But I'm just not betting on the Vikings this year. And I mean, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet when it comes to the Packers. I mean, they'll probably clinch the division by week 13. I mean, it's no in my opinion, it's no competition here. I mean, at the worst, division-wise, they'll go 5-1. So they'll sweep the Bears, they'll sweep the Lions, might split with the Vikings or sweep them. So it's the Packers division. It's been the Packers division. That's where it starts and where it ends.
I like the way you think, and I'm not what you said. So I'm just gonna be as honest with you as possible. Like, we'll see how it goes. I'm like Jay on this one. I try not to toot no horns until I'll see it when I believe it. Everybody wants us to pick, wants the Packers to go out on top. That sounds great, but I done had too many heartbreaks in the last couple of years. Until I see it, then we all right. So let's head to the Division of Champions, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the NFC South, where we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the panel believes that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to wreck shop here. Cody got him at 13-4. I got him at 14-3. James at 14-3. Jay's got him at 13-4. I think Jay's being nice. He wants to put him at 15-2, but we won't talk about that right now. And then Lamont Lamont got him at 12-5. And Jay, I'm gonna save you for last because obviously But James, we're looking at this division, and you see Tampa Bay at 14-3. You got the Saints at 9-8, and then the Falcons at 8-9, and then the Panthers at 4-13. Give us your thoughts on the NFC South.
So definitely the Bucs are going to win. The only way I see them not winning is if Brady goes down with some sort of catastrophic injury.
Shut your mouth.
Like 2008. So unless Bernard Pollard's still playing, I feel like Tampa Bay is going to win this division. I did have the Saints in second, but right now they're much like the city of New Orleans. They're kind of on the rebound. So prayers, thoughts with everybody going through the Hurricane Ida side effects and after effects. It's going to be tough for New Orleans this season. I mean, they'll have to overcome that, but they also have to overcome the loss of Drew Brees. They've got to overcome the Michael Thomas injury. There's a lot of questions right now with New Orleans. We just don't know how they're going to respond yet. I mean, they have Sean Payton, who's proven that he's a great coach. but we just got to see how they respond on the field. I mean, Jameis Winston's taking over the team. We don't know which Jameis we're going to get. We don't know if we're going to get famous Jameis or if we're going to get 30 for 30 Jameis. I mean, you just never know. You just never know which Jameis you're going to get, man. I mean, and as far as the defense, they still got Cam Jordan. I don't know how much longer he can keep it going, but, I mean, you got to watch out for him. You got a game plan for him every Sunday that you play him. I mean, New Orleans always is tough, but we'll just see how they rebound. When it comes to Atlanta, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we have our schedule's a little bit lighter this year, but we have a new coach, new scheme, new defense, new defensive coordinator. Just got to see how everything clicks, how everybody responds. Atlanta could possibly see themselves playing for second place in the division, maybe at best, maybe 9-10 wins, but just got to wait and see. And then for Carolina, I feel like they're still experimenting. I mean, they brought in Sam Darnold. We don't know how it's going to work out. They're just wait and see. But I will say it's good to have Christian McCaffrey back if you're a Panthers fan. Hopefully he stays healthy. And that might be their only shot at winning some games is Christian McCaffrey dominating and Sam Darnold not throwing interceptions, maybe getting some semblance. I mean, I do feel like this is the best offense Darnold has had since he's been in the league. I mean, he's got DJ Moore. He's got Robbie Anderson on the outside. He's got McCaffrey out of the backfield. It's probably the best defense he's played with, too, so far. And actually, it's the best coaching staff that probably Sam Darnold's had, too.
Everything.
I mean, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, I mean, he had Gase. God, he had Adam Gase. Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold's getting a breath of fresh air in Carolina, man.
And Todd Bowles was just a Bowles.
I don't think it was all Bowles' fault, man. I think Bowles got a bad rep.
Yeah,
I think Bowles got a bad rep for the Jet stuff, but I mean, he had Gase too. I mean, I think he'd rather have Bowles than Gase. Good Lord.
That's a good one.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, Sam Darnold's thankful that he's probably in Carolina right now.
And he had Gase. That is the answer to all.
He had Gase.
Cody, I'm swinging to you next. You got the Bucks at 13-4, Saints 9-8, Falcons 6-11, and the Panthers at 6-11. Your thoughts on the NFC South?
The Panthers are very intriguing to me, man. For all the things that James said, this is probably Sam Darnold's best team, offensively, defensively, coaching staff, special teams, you name it, water boys. It doesn't matter. It's probably the best team that he's ever played on. And the thing is, it's like the bad teams that he had in New York, everybody knows when the team loses, it's all on the quarterback. So everything that was negative came to Sam Darnold. I think it's a breath of fresh air for him. And I know I have them at 6-11, but it wouldn't surprise me if they contended for second place in this division. That defense has definitely gotten better. I love the pick from J.C. Horn, who can be a lockdown corner for them. So that's a team I'm keeping my eye on. But again, this is Tampa Bay's division. With New Orleans losing Drew Brees, and I understand, Jameis Winston, he's a gunslinger as well. He can come in and do some things, but he's not going to be able to do what Drew Brees did. So I think, their loss is a Tampa Bay gain because Tampa should be able to win this division with no problem.
Like Lamont, we go back and looking in your situation here. You've got the Tampa Bay with the lowest record here at 12-5. Then you have the Saints. Me and yourself agree with that with 11-6. Panthers at 8-9, and then you had the Falcons at 3-14. I know that's not making James smile at all. So, what are your thoughts here on this NFC South?
Well, let me go ahead and explain myself for James first, because I think James, I think, new, like you said, new regime, all the way around. And I don't think that it's going to necessarily be a reflection on your new coaches, but I think we're going to need to give them a chance, right? And I think, that anytime you have a new regime, a lot of times it takes them a while, to get their guys into place, to get their schemes into place, and to get, their routine into place. And I think that this could be a good coaching scheme for them, but I think we need to give them a chance. And, they're going up against veterans, and Sean Payton, going up against, Tampa Bay coming off the championship. So I think that it's just a rough go. They get the short straw. And that's all it really is for me, for the Falcons. As far as we got Carolina, Sam Darnold era now, so we'll see what happens. Again, McCaffrey, is he going to be able to play the whole season this year? We'll see. Defensively, they still got some questions they need to answer. So we'll see how that goes with Carolina. But I think Sam Darnold's capable, but at the same time, he needs to decide, and Carolina needs to decide if this is the place for him. I've seen him in person. We went up to that game, Darrell, when we saw them play Washington, and he threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right, like we've seen him capable. Can he do it on a consistent basis? And then we have the Saints. I think that Peyton and the defense gets the Saints the nod over the other two, right? I feel like that's a consistency for them. We know that they can draw up some stuff defensively. Cam Jordan is a problem still. Sean Payton. He's a game manager from the coaching perspective. So I got to give it to him there. And then Tampa Bay, I feel like they're going to get themselves in position. And then the reason why I have them only with 12 wins is, I feel like they'll be coasting. I do. I feel like, they're just filling everybody out. They'll get into position. And then when the playoffs come, everybody's going to be like, what are we going to do with them? And then they're just going to smack people all the way up to the Super Bowl again.
Yep. Same thing I was thinking. Same thing I was thinking. All right, now I'm going to swing here. I got Tampa Bay 14-3. I don't know. I see what Lamont's saying with the coasting part. But if you look at this top to bottom, everybody returned. I don't know if they'll have a little bit of Super Bowl hangover. I can see 12-5 being the Super Bowl hangover. But this team is ready, and Tom Brady is out to once again prove that he's Tom Brady, and all he cares about. People made fun of me for picking Tom Brady as the number 1 quarterback heading into this season, but until you got to beat the GOAT, you got to beat the GOAT to beat the GOAT. That's all I'm saying. So then I got the Saints at 11-6, and my biggest thing in this, I really do think Jameis can turn things around. I really do. Maybe it's just me hoping for the best for the young man. But we've seen what he can do. He's thrown for 5,000 yards. Jay, you said it on the show a couple weeks ago. One of 8 players is thrown for 5,000 yards. So the ability is there. It's just that can he keep everything going? Did Drew Brees mentor him enough to get him where he needs to be this year or help him grow in that process? We'll see. Then I have Carolina at 4-13 and Atlanta at 4-13. And this one was tough for me because I like what the Panthers are doing, but I don't know if they're ready yet. We got to see what Sam Darnold is. I do want to throw this beef out there real quick. How dare Christian McCaffrey be higher than Derrick Henry on Madden? Just want to throw that out there real quick. Just
he can do both. He can run it and catch it.
Yeah, but no.
Run CMC.
No.
You gonna catch a hospital.
Not the best running back in the league. Especially
I don't know, man. McCaffrey's tough.
If you're doing it from year to year, you got to give my man the nod. That's all I'm saying. And then with Atlanta, I love the addition of Kyle Pitts. We've only seen a very, very small sample size, but I got very high hopes for the young man there in Atlanta. So, but that's me in the NFC South. Jay, is your baby. So let's talk NFC South. Jay's got the Bucks going 13-4. The Saints going 5-12. You really hate his division. Saints going 5-12. Falcons going 5-12, and the Panthers going 3-14. Boy, you hate that division, don't you, boy?
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, see, some of my reasoning. Okay, with the Panthers, I'm still not sold 100% on Darnold. Did Adam Gase give him too many of the bad drugs that Gase was taking? Is he going to be able to pick up where he left off? I mean, I want to see great things for the young man, but I need to see it, on the field. The defense, that defensive line. I mean, every time somebody does something good, most of the time with Carolina's defense, then as soon as they're a free agent, they're out. They're like deuces. So I'm not sold on them by any means. Atlanta, when Julio went, for me, that was the franchise saying, if we give up this year, we're just trying to rebuild, and this is our foundation. Kyle Pitts is going to be the face of that. And Matt Ryan's old. He's about time to hang him up. So I see them taking a quarterback in first round next year if Ryan still plays. If not, that's where they're heading. I'm sorry, James. I hate to say it, but I mean, he can still sling it. But
it's the only thing we do well.
Who's the running back? It's been so long. I mean, you think Atlanta running backs. I think Michael Turner.
We had Dirk Cutter as offensive coordinator, who was your former head coach. He doesn't know how to run the ball.
Yeah, I
There's no
know.
need for a running back.
Now,
And
I will say
I'm
this.
glad
I
that
want to.
he's with you guys. Anyways,
No, he's gone now. I'm glad he's on the couch
I
at
do
his
like
house.
the pickup. I do like the pickup of Mike Davis. Mike Davis had a really strong year last year with Carolina when CC was down, and so now he's coming into the season as the lead back. If I'm
But
not
he had an
mistaken,
offensive line in Carolina.
that is also true, or at least a better offensive line, I guess you would
Yeah.
say. But we'll see.
Definitely a better line, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not sold on Davis. I mean, he's been on 5 teams in 4 years, somewhat of a journeyman.
Yep.
He got his chance to pop in Carolina. Can he replicate it in Smith's offense? That's going to be his best shot. I mean, we've seen what Arthur Smith did with Derrick Henry, while Mike Davis is no Derrick Henry. He's still in a run-friendly offense.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll definitely see. We'll definitely
And
see. Well, that
you
is
know, my thing with the Saints is the fact of I like Sean Payton, but Sean Payton came in to New Orleans in 2006. You know who else came into New Orleans in 2006? Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
I thought you were gonna say it. I'm not even. I'll tell you the joke in my head
Okay.
later. We'll talk
Because,
about that a little bit later.
You know, they
But I
helped
thought you were gonna go with that.
New Orleans back. They won that Super Bowl for them. You know, after Katrina, and Sean Payton's great offensively, but what the hell was he thinking giving Taysom Hill all that money? I mean, and now Jameis Winston is going to be your starter. Jameis Winston is hands down way better than Taysom Hill as a quarterback. That's my opinion. I think as an in-pocket or scrambler, I just like what Jameis can do as long as he, recognizes a jersey. So, they traded for Bradley Roby, I think today or yesterday, which is bringing in another Ohio State guy that will play good. And Marshawn Lattimore's done great when he's healthy.
Yeah. And I think they also brought in True Font, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I think they brought in Desmond True Font as well. So they're really trying to boost that secondary up. So,
I wouldn't count much on True Font. I mean,
you got
his best days are behind him.
You got to do something.
Kind of like the receivers that get by him.
When you got to deal with Evans, and you got to deal with Godwin, and you got to deal with Gronk, and you got to deal with Brady.
AB.
Don't
forget AB.
If OJ Howard gets sprinkled in there, AB. Let me not forget about AB. So you got to do something. You got to try.
I couldn't have been that high because we got to lose games. I can't expect this to be the pinnacle of Tampa Bay because you don't go anywhere without growing and learning. You still have to lose to stay humble.
That's true. I definitely agree with that. All right, y'all. So we have completed the prediction part of our divisions. Now we're getting to the nitty gritty here. We're almost at the end. We're going to head to the playoffs, y'all. We're going to see what the playoffs look like. Let's start with the AFC. Let's see where everybody went in the AFC playoffs. All right, here we go. Here's the playoffs. So based off of our predictions, Cody has the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1 in the AFC. The Bills at number 2, the Colts at 3, the Ravens at 4, Chargers at 5, Browns at 6, Titans sneak in at the 7th seed. Myself, I have the Buffalo Bills as the number 1 seed, Kansas City as 2, the Titans. And now I sit back and think about it, I might have been smoking. The Titans probably should be 6 on here, or maybe it should be 4 on this list. I probably should have flipped it. Browns at 4, Dolphins at 5, Steelers at 6, and Ravens at 7. That's right. I have 3 teams out of the AFC North into the playoffs. James has the Bills at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Ravens at 3, the Colts at 4, Browns at 5, Dolphins at 6, and the Chargers sneak in at number 7. Jay has the Baltimore Ravens as the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs. The Bills at 2, Chargers at 3, Titans at 4, Browns at 5, Patriots at 6, Chiefs at 7. That it sounds hard to hear out loud, but the Chiefs at 7. And then Lamont has the Chiefs at 1, Steelers 2, Bills 3, Titans 4, Browns 5, Dolphins 6, and Ravens 7. Now, fellas, we're gonna go through real quick, and just you don't have to give me your straight up predictions on how they get there. That's completely up to you. But just real quick, give me your thoughts on your playoff bracket. We'll start with Cody. Cody, you got the Chiefs and all that stuff. Tell me where your playoff bracket landed. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing is based off of how my playoff seeding is. You're going to have a matchup of the Colts versus the Browns in that first round. And I think that that's going to be, like I said earlier, the Colts remind me of that Philadelphia team back in 2017 that went to the Super Bowl. But we know that the Browns have a very good defense. So, I mean, that's going to be a very huge test for the Colts. And then also looking at that 4-5 matchup of the Ravens and the Chargers traveling all the way to the East Coast to play the Ravens with a young quarterback and Justin Herbert for the Chargers. I just think it's going to be a wild playoffs how mine land. I would say that the one game that would be a no-brainer would be in that first round Bills over the Titans. I don't think that's going to be much of a contest.
All right. Say, I'll go next. We'll go in order here. So I got the Bills. Obviously, is the 1 seed, so they're going to get the bye. Chiefs Ravens is going to be interesting because Pat Mahomes kind of has some type of slight advantage over Lamar Jackson, and all their games that they've played. I think maybe one game Lamar has won. I could be wrong on that, but I know Pat has had the advantage on pretty much every single game that they play. But the games have been tight. They've been close games. I don't see Lamar able to get past Pat in this situation. I got the Chiefs moving on. Titans and Steelers. This is going to be a hard-nosed game. It's more likely going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be in Tennessee, but it'd be probably a hard-nosed running game. I don't know why I feel like the running games would reign supreme, but in this case, I'm going to take the Titans. I'm not 100% on the Steelers. And then Browns and Dolphins. This one's going to be fun because I like Flores as a head coach. I want to see the Dolphins do well, but I think the Browns will take this one in that situation. James.
So, like we see, you got Buffalo at the top. I definitely feel like they'll run away with the first seed in the AFC this year. For our games, we got Chiefs at Chargers. I feel like that one could potentially be a shootout. One defense stands up, makes a play. More than likely, they'll be the ones to win the game. I'd have the Chiefs winning that one. I mean, me personally, I feel like Kansas City has the offense and a little bit more of a better defense to go ahead and get it done. Ravens at Dolphins. In the playoffs, man, we've seen more and more. It's becoming more about your quarterback play in the playoffs. And when it comes down to it, I'd take Lamar over Tua all day. I mean, Miami might have the better defense, but I feel like when it comes to the playoffs, your quarterback is what gets you. The Ravens definitely have the better quarterback, possibly even the better offense. I go Ravens. And then Colts versus Browns. I feel like Cleveland, they have a defense that'll travel well. They have a run game that'll travel well. I'm taking the Browns over the Colts all day.
All right. Jay.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell this shit works.
All right, so I'll break it down here for you. So, the Ravens have the 1 seed. Now, Jay, you have the Bills taking on the Chiefs in that first round with that 2 and that 7 seed.
And I would have the Bills winning just because of the fact that the Chiefs would have to go up there and play in the cold weather. Not that it don't get cold out in Kansas, but I like that defense, and I hate the Chiefs. So,
okay, great.
Okay, great.
Next, we got Chargers and Patriots. 2 young guns going at it.
Yeah. What the hell? My light just unplugged. All right, it's dark.
Lights out.
I think I kicked the breaker. But anyways, I'm getting fucking shocked or something. Anyways,
don't get electrocuted. They don't get electrocuted.
I'm gonna go with the. Damn, I can't see the. Actually, I'm gonna go with Chargers.
Chargers in that one.
I've made that commitment. I'm gonna stick to it. How's that look?
Oh, I like the way you said that one sounds. And then you got Titans and Browns in the 4 and 5 matchup.
I got the Browns, and the only reason I got the Browns is you'll find out later why. But the Browns are in it for the long haul. They really are.
All right, Lamont.
All right. I have obviously if you see on Chiefs, Steelers, Bills take the top 3 spots. In the wild card, I got Cleveland and Tennessee, number 5 versus number 4. I think Cleveland definitely is a better team, top to bottom, than Tennessee. They'll figure it out and they'll take them. I actually think that they'll actually win the next game too, but I'll get into that. I got Buffalo versus Miami. I think Miami does sneak in there again with their defense. I think they'll get there if Tua can do a little bit better than last year. They'll sneak in. But they run into the Bills, who's the division bully, and they go down there. And then also another divisional matchup in the wild card round, you got Pitt versus Baltimore. And I think, Pitt will have their number just as far as, more consistent, on defense. And I think that they'll be able to produce a little more offensively than the Ravens. You may have like 2 touchdowns in the game, but I think the Steelers will win it out.
All right, so that's your AFC playoff. Now we could go a little bit deeper on how that, but we're gonna get to the championship games and stuff here soon. We're gonna swing to the NFC playoffs. So looking at the NFC playoffs here, everybody has the Bucks as the 1 seed except for James, which I do appreciate, James, but I don't know if it's gonna make a difference. So Cody's got Bucks, Packers at 2, Rams at 3, Cowboys 4, Seahawks 5, Cardinals 6, and Washington pulling in at the 7 seed. Myself, I've got the Bucks 1, the Packers 2, the Cowboys 3, the Seahawks 4, Cardinals 5, the 49ers 6, and Washington 7. That's right. I have 3 teams in there in the NFC West in there. James, of course, has Packers 1, Bucks 2, Rams 3, Washington is 4th, Seattle 5, Cardinals 6, and 49ers 7. Jay goes in with Bucks, Seahawks at 2, Washington at 3, Packers 4, Cardinals 5, and then you've got the 49ers at 6, Cowboys at 7. Lamont with Bucks 1, Packers 2, Cardinals 3, Washington 4, Saints 5, Seahawks 6, and Giants are 7th. Cody, what we got going on in the NFC?
That first matchup of the 2 Packers versus the 7 seed Washington, I think that's going to be a great game for Aaron Rodgers to really get that offense going against a very tough defense that could really set the tone for the Packers in that playoffs. I think we'll see a little bit more about that later on when we're talking about our predictions for the Super Bowl for me. So I had the Packers over Washington. That Rams-Cardinals matchup, a nice battle of NFC West foes. I said earlier, I'm really big on Matt Stafford this year. I think that they'll be able to handle business against the Cardinals. Then you have the Seahawks traveling to Dallas. And, this is a tough matchup because I agree. I think it was Lamont that said it earlier. The Seahawks are on a bit of a decline, but I still think that they'll be able to edge out the Cowboys in that first round and move on to the second round of the playoffs.
All right. For myself, Bucks 1. Tom Brady's Tom Brady, so I'll leave it at that. I didn't realize I put Green Bay against Washington in the first round, and that's going to be a tough one for Aaron Rodgers and the crew because, Washington does have a little bit of playoff experience now, and I think they'll just be better on the defense. I'm still going with the Pack, but Washington's going to give them a run for their money. Also, depending on if Packers situation, they better hope Heineke doesn't start in that game. Cowboys and 49ers. This goes old school 90s here. Hopefully this does kind of happen. This would be pretty cool to see. In this case, I got the Cowboys winning this one, but the 49ers will give them a run for their money. Seahawks and Cardinals. This will be another West battle. I got the Cardinals winning that one in that situation. James?
So, yeah, as you can see, this is a first. I got everybody from the NFC West in there, the way the tiebreakers and everything worked out. The Vikings just missed the 7th seed, and the 49ers clinched it. So we got Packers 1, Bucks, Rams, Washington, Seahawks, Cardinals, and 49ers. So that first game, we got Tampa Bay against the 49ers. I feel like unless San Fran's defense shows up, Tampa Bay is going to win that game. I mean, they have the offense and the defense to go along with it. Plus, we don't know how Shanahan's gut's going to be feeling that day. We don't know who's going to be at quarterback, so you just never know. We got Rams and Cardinals. I feel like the Rams would take that one. I mean, just all around when it comes to their offensive prowess, the defensive prowess, I feel like the Rams would be the better team over the Cardinals. Washington, Seattle, I feel like Washington's defense would make it intriguing. If Russell Wilson's able to figure it out, Russell would get the win, which I believe I had him in this scenario. But, I mean, you just never know. Washington's defense could possibly get the better of them. Like we said, Seattle's a team that's possibly on the decline. They have a lot of guys that just that they've really lost since their championship defensive days. So you just never know. Washington could pull it out there.
All right, Jay.
Let's see. I got the Bucks, of course. I don't know how, but why. But anyways, Seahawks against the Cowboys, kind of similar to what Cody's got with his 4 and 5. And I I agree with him on the decline of Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. But with the Cowboys, if they can put it together to get to the playoffs, they have everything that the Seahawks don't have. So I'm actually going to go with the Cowboys on that. 49ers against Washington. Again, Shanahan's gut. This is crazy, but I'm going Washington just because that defense is just beyond nasty. As long as they're all healthy, we're good. 4 Packers, 5 Cardinals. I'm going with the Packers because the Cardinals don't run the ball.
Yes, we'll see what Chase Edmonds can do this year as the lead back. That'll be interesting. Lamont.
All right. I got Bucks and Packers. Take the first 2 seeds. The way the seeding has up. Well, let me explain first the Giants, and Cody will love this. Getting 7. The way my scenario played out, I actually had the 49ers finishing 10-7 as well. But because the Giants have the easier schedule in their division, I did see the Giants working out the tiebreaker and getting the 7th seed. I do have in the wild card round the Saints playing Washington. I think the Saints edge it out just by experience. I think that they'll go to Washington and get it done just because they've been there so many times, and it'll get them over the hump and probably be a heartbreaker for Washington. I do think that number 3 versus number 6 will be Arizona and Seattle. That'll be another division, a grueling matchup. I think that Arizona actually unseeds Seattle, in their position as, one of the top teams in the NFC West. I think it happens this year, and Seattle is going to have to go back to the drawing board. And then I have number 2, Green Bay will take on the Giants. I think the Giants will actually surprise people defensively a little bit, but Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers, and he will take over and he'll wipe them out.
All right. Sorry, Cody.
I'm just happy to be in the playoffs. That's all
I'm
I'm
just
saying.
happy to be in the playoffs. All right, so now we're gonna head to our Super Bowl matchup. This is what we had at the Super Bowl, and then we'll give you our winners, and then we'll call it a night here. And we do appreciate everybody for tuning in. And so now we're gonna go ahead and swing to our Super Bowl matchups. So, Cody, Packers, Chiefs. I have the Buccaneers and the Bills. James has the Buccaneers and the Chiefs in a Super Bowl 55 rematch. Then you got Jay with the Packers and the Browns, and then me and Lamont on the same page here with Buccaneers and Bills. Cody, tell us about this matchup. Why is it happening?
So for my NFC Championship game, I have the Packers versus the Bucs. And I just feel like, it's just something magical is happening in Green Bay, in my opinion. Everybody, saying the last dance and everything. So I feel like, Rodgers is, he's going to take it up another level, which is kind of hard to believe that he would have even another level to go up to. So I have them taking on the Buccaneers and beating them. And then in the AFC, I had the Chiefs playing the Bills, and I had the Chiefs winning that. I think that when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots a couple years ago in the AFC Championship game, it was a huge chip on Patrick Mahomes' shoulder. They go back, they make it to the Super Bowl, they win, and then last year they lose in the Super Bowl. So I think that same chip is back because he wants to taste that Super Bowl victory again. So I have the Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers.
All right. Now, all right. So in my vision here, I had Tampa Bay going against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. I'm just not going to hold my breath. We've been to 2 straight NFC Championship games. If we win, great. If we don't, great. I'm at that point right now. The Buffalo Bills, I think, are really going to take a big step. This is a huge year for Josh Allen. He's got the money. Now he's got to step up and really help take the Bills team to the next level, and they have a chance to do it. They have to play the way they played at the beginning of the AFC Championship game, not towards the end of the AFC Championship game from the year before. So I definitely feel good about this matchup. It would be different. It would be fun. I got Buccaneers and Bills. James?
So I have Chiefs at Bucks for the Super Bowl. For my NFC Championship game, I had the Packers at the Bucks. Bucks at Packers again. I feel like it will be a repeat of kind of last year where Tampa Bay finds a way to make the last dance season come up just short, and they edge out Aaron Rodgers again at home to get back to the Super Bowl. And then on the AFC side of things, I had Kansas City actually knocking off Cleveland, who knocked off the Bills to make it to the AFC Championship game. But ultimately, I feel like Kansas City has the offense that can edge out Cleveland and their defense. The only way I could see it overturning is if somehow, I guess, Baker channels his inner Mahomes, but I don't see that happening. So my homeboy is going back.
All right, Jay.
Well, my NFC is, of course, Tampa against the Packers, but I agree with Cody. I think Aaron's going to have his last FU to the Packers. Hey, I got that.
I'll take it as long as I get a ring out of it. I'll take it as long as I get a ring out of it. Come on.
There's just something that the Browns are finally getting right. I love what they do with their two-headed monster with Hunt and Chubb. And, I mean, they got so many weapons that any one of us could be a damn quarterback for that team and be able to win a game.
All right, Lamont.
All right, I'm gonna just piggyback off of where Jay left off. So the reason why I have the Bills getting in is I actually have in my scenario Cleveland knocking out the Chiefs in the divisional round. I think that it's going to be hard for the Chiefs to come out and beat them twice. The same from last year. I think that Cleveland is getting over the hump and they're closing the gap. And I think this year they actually find a way to slay the dragon that the Bills can't. And that's the Chiefs. And just by the draw, the Bills get in. As far as Tampa Bay, Darrell, you're not going to like this at all.
That's fine.
I actually have, you remember I'm high on the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. I actually have them going to Green Bay and doing the unthinkable and actually taking out Green Bay, which would actually leave Tampa Bay able to ease on into the Super Bowl, and then I got the Bills taking it, and hopefully, I don't know. I think I'd have to take that video of my dad crying.
That's only once. He wants to see his dad cry. That's his whole purpose. I will say this though, Lamont. When I look at Kyler Murray, Green Bay has had really bad luck with running quarterbacks in the playoffs. Kaepernick, Vic. Yep. And if that was going to happen, it would not surprise me one bit. And the way Kyler can move around the field, yes, I could see magic happening in Lambeau and that happening. So would it surprise me? No, not at all, sir. I've been there, done that. All right. Now, last but not least, y'all, our Super Bowl winners. This is what we've got it looking like. For whatever reason, I'm the only person that has Tampa Bay repeating, but I do believe Jay has that in his heart, but I understand completely. Cody, Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. Why?
Like I said a minute ago, that chip on Patrick Mahomes and the whole Kansas City Chiefs roster's shoulder, I just feel like it's huge. They don't want to feel like they've been forgotten. That the Bucs are going to go back again and win it, or Aaron Rodgers is going to win it. They're ready to get back on top of the throne. So I just have Kansas City being able to edge out and stopping that magical season with Green Bay.
All right. I'm going Tampa Bay, and I'm going Tampa Bay for this reason. I feel like, and I said it before, you got to beat the man to be the man, or whatnot. And I'll be honest with you, Tom Brady does not look a day over 30 when it comes to a quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he looks great. He looks like he's ready for another run. The team looks excited. They look pumped. This is what the mentality for me. When I saw him come out in that preseason game, and he had no reason to play. Tom Brady does not need to play in the preseason. But I saw him go out there and I saw him dissect that team. Preseason or no preseason. I said, Jesus Christ. Thomas Brady does not care about people. And he is here to win championships. That's all he cares about. He takes less money. He does it all. And so for me, I got Tampa Bay. Until he leaves the league, which looks like we got another 2 years before that happens. That's where we go. James.
So, yeah, I got Mahomes and the Chiefs doing it again. I feel like, they solved their offensive line problems this year. They'll solve their offensive line issues this offseason. When we saw in last year's Super Bowl, that was a big deterrent for them. Mahomes really never had a chance to actually settle in the pocket, find his receivers. I mean, it was a miracle that he got all the passes he did. But, they have that fixed now. Their offense is still clicking. I feel like they make it back, and I feel like this time they walk away with it.
All right. Jay.
Oh, I got the Packers against the Browns. And, for me, like I said, this is Aaron's ultimate, see you bitches. It's been great. I would love to see him go out, but I don't want to see him do the same thing that your last gunslinger did and just, go visit the Vikings or the Jets or some shit like that.
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If that happens, I'm going to cry. I want him to go somewhere that I want to see him win a ring. But
the Browns, I love the team, but Baker's going to be what Baker does occasionally and be like, oh, squirrel, look at that.
Lamont.
All right, my Super Bowl matchup is Bills versus Bucks. And I think that this is going to be a story of irony. I think that for years, Tom Brady has been the nightmare of the Buffalo Bills. And I think that this is the year that it's not going to be Allen versus Brady. It's not going to be the Bills defense versus Brady. Really, it's going to be this whole city and this whole community versus Tom Brady. And I think that it's kind of going to be like the story of the Eagles, winning their first championship. I think this is going to be something where, history is going to happen and that, this is just the Bills' window and it's closing. And I feel like somehow, some way, they're going to pull it out.
All right. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is our predictions right at the 2-hour mark, y'all. We timed that right near the 2-hour mark here. But there it is. The experts here on the panel. We got Buffalo. Looks like those AFC and NFC championship teams from last year. Somebody in that mix is going to win it based off of our thoughts. Now, before we get off of here, I'm going to do real quick. I want you to name your MVP in no detail. I just want you to give me your name for your MVP. James, who is your MVP this year?
I'm going to go Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I ain't on crack. God dang.
LT.
Oh, if you think he's on crack, you're going to have to up the drugs for me. Because I'm going Kyler Murray.
I like you.
Thinking of my story.
CBD.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. James. Jay.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady because there's only 2 records that he's going to have to that he doesn't own, and that's passing yards in a season and passing touchdowns in a season.
I go after that MVP record too. I'm going Josh Allen, so I'm right here with James. I think this is it. I mean, if you're going to do it, this is it. I'm not, I think he's going to make a move. So I'm going Josh Allen. All right, everybody, that is it. The Legacy Maker Sports NFL Prediction Show. We're calling it a wrap. Before we get off of here, Jay, anything you want to say, brother?
No, everybody keep checking out people's work shows. We got the Commonwealth with Lamont. Becca's got NASCAR all weekend. Darrell's got a really shiny head. I love me some Cody and James. Love them articles. What? James does more than me.
And James does more than me. At least he's honest about it. All right, LT.
Oh man, I'm just glad to have football back, man. 'Tis the season. Let's do it, and let's all enjoy, the season kickoff like everybody likes, and that's the Cowboys losing.
Hey,
there it is.
We might need to talk about sleeping arrangements.
Cody.
James loves it.
I just got one thing to say. Go Giants, baby! Let's go! The whole house. What'd you say?
Start running in the room.
What'd you say, LeBron?
10-7, baby. Let's get it.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it all day.
James, did I go to you yet? No. I don't want to make sure I go to James. There we go.
Nah, but I'm not gonna lie. This was a little harder than I expected. I mean, we have so many teams this year that are good teams, but you just have so many that are kind of like in the middle or near the bottom, where it's like 1 or 2 good plays, 1 or 2 injuries here or there. You just never know. So this was definitely fun. Hopefully, we start to see that some of these predictions are right. But yeah, I definitely feel like we're in for another good year of football. So I'm definitely pumped about that.
James is 100% right. The variables are so astronomical. There's no way to know which way's up.
It's going to be a wild season. The one thing I want to say is just, enjoy football this weekend. Or tomorrow, because it starts tomorrow, y'all. We're back tomorrow. We're back. So enjoy football. Get that time with your family and your friends. Just relax and just enjoy football. I'm gonna sit back and try to enjoy it, or when I'm not running around. But besides that, we'll see. We'll definitely see. All right, everybody. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm your man, Darrell Lawrence, Lamont Thomas, Jay Quimby, James Brown, Cody Stewart, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Until next time.
Peace.